What's up, everybody? I'm James. Welcome to Mechanical Mayhem, and this is the Mechwarrior 5 Clans story-driven playthrough where we're really looking into the story of the campaign, which is fantastic. We are still on Santander, but that is drawing to a close because we have gotten some pretty good intel to be able to flush out Valasek and his band of rats, hence flushing the nest, an assault mission that we'll be tackling in this part. So that should be good fun. Definitely post your thoughts in the comments section. What loadout did you make use of during this if you played this mission yet yourself? And hit that subscribe button to be part of future conversations in the playlist and other topics on this channel in the future. So, let's strap in and prepare for drop as we flush out Valasek's band of misfits. Alright, let's press on our conquest of Santander. We are going to flush them out. I like this mission. It adds a little bit of verticality. We kind of don't just stay on the same plane throughout the entirety of it, which is pretty cool. It makes use of the interesting terrain features of Santander in that capacity, and it kind of helps this leg of our campaign thus far not so much come full circle, but it ties up beginning things in regards to when we first set foot on this planet. As Sakan Weaver is stating, we have energy signatures or thermal signatures that are identical to the fusion reactors of the dropships. Remember, our first mission here on this planet, we encountered 3 Union dropships that were gutted. Not even their fusion reactors were left, but they were rigged to explode, right? So, chances are, those things were always kind of rigged that way, but not necessarily meant to be utilized every time somebody shows up, kind of a one-and-done deal. But these fusion reactors are then repurposed to be kind of a base of operations power plant, which feels very piratey and makes a lot of sense. So our goal is to flush them out by basically taking away all their toys, and that's what we're doing here. We have some drop weight to work with, so we're definitely going to do that. I am also going to experiment here. I am not one who particularly likes messing with the Adder Prime. I like the Adder Prime the way it is, but I figured to just try things out, I wanted to give the Adder one of its alternate configurations, which is a fire support configuration, and has a couple of these, but I wanted to go with kind of the over-the-top 2 LRM-20s on a light mech. Now, while yes, there was a hotfix that did address some ammo economy situations, it's still a light mech. Don't expect it to be able to have a lot of ammunition. They're not meant to. It's par for the course. And honestly, it does have 2 small pulse lasers and the flamer that all Adder chassis configurations have to allow it to be effective once out of ammo. Truth be told, if a player was using it, it would have a lot better ammo economy, but we'll get to that in a moment. So I was wanting the alternate configuration B for the Shadowcat, but now that I'm running 2, I can unlock alternate configuration A for Ezra, and then since I have 2, like I said, the more copies of a chassis you run, the more chassis experience you will accrue per mission. I'll easily be able to unlock the other alternate configuration for the Shadowcat after this mission, no problem. So the Adder, why would it have better ammo economy in a player's hands? Well, we wouldn't fire missiles like this at a turret. You're not the lead mech, obviously. You're part of a team, and you would let the rest of your team deal with simple stuff with their longer ranged equipment, such as turrets and even light vehicles and aircraft. You would save those LRM-20s for battle mechs. AI don't do that. AI will fire it at anything. So while they don't spam fire nearly as much potentially as a player could, they do fire at anything. So in certain situations when ammo is more of a premium, it's actually better off in the hands of a player, such as a light mech with double LRM-20s, but I wanted to just do it anyway. I wanted to be thematic with Naomi and just try out this configuration. I am fully expecting her to run out of ammo pretty quick because, again, we just don't have the tonnage to have a lot of ammo reserve. It's the little things that I appreciate, like the attention to detail of kind of the, I guess you call maneuvering thrusters to position the dropship just a little bit better. They didn't have to do that little intro cutscene that way, but they did. It just makes it feel more natural or more expected out of maneuvering a dropship like that into such a position, and I just appreciate it. Anyways, We do have the benefit while we're in the low ground of a river, and I will try to make use of it as much as possible. But we're going to see right off the bat there is a turret popping up, 2 AC-2s that will have a whole bunch of missiles raining down on it way after the fact, because Naomi fires missiles that take longer to get there, and, well, we wouldn't have fired those missiles at the turrets ourselves. But par for the course, not a big deal. We have a pretty stout start as it stands. We have the Assassin medium mech here, and we're doing pretty good damage to it, but it's going to be really rude and punch us. That's very not clan-like. We don't believe in meleeing for no reason, unless it's the only thing we have left to us, so we quickly knock it down. And I can be a bit more liberal with my firing because I'm in the water. Once you're sufficiently deep in water, you will see a little kind of snowflake icon, I call it, by our heat gauge. That means you are receiving enhanced cooling from something. So there's a Raven. The Raven has the ECM that causes a HUD to go crazy like it is, but what we'll see here is that we're actually going to destroy the left torso, and I believe the ECM is in the left torso or the left arm. Either way, we destroy that torso, the ECM effect goes away, and then the Raven is destroyed. So either destroy the mech entirely or where the component is located to get rid of the ECM effect on yourself. The pirates aren't making a good use of the Raven. The Raven should have been up there with those guys, and if anything, the Panther should have been down here. But hey, I'm not going to tell them how to try and fight me. In any case, that's just my opinion anyway. But yes, so now we're facing a Panther, we're facing a Spider, and a whole bunch of Flamer on us. So there's that, but we take out that in short order. And I think it's a fire starter. So we have a decent amount of mechs being thrown at us even earlier into the missions, which means we are really ramping up to be more of a standard Mechwarrior game now. Yes, we still have vehicles to deal with, and we're going to have aircraft and all that, of course, but we're now really getting exposed to mech combat because more and more mechs of higher weight classes and frequency are being thrown at us, which is also a signifier of increased difficulty. I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. As drop weight increased, what that means is you should expect a heavier defensive presence. It's not just raw difficulty in the fact that they're going to hit you more accurately necessarily. It also means you're going to face a lot of stuff. So you definitely want to keep that in mind for prioritizing things like ammunition and trying to conserve the damage you take, playing more tactically, I suppose, and whatnot. Rather short-range turret there for being out in the open like that, but hey, we'll take it. So we have to bid adieu to the river because now we're going up, and in doing so we are going to be exposed to the full wrath of heat generation of this mech, so we have to play a bit more carefully again, utilizing chain fire in addition to firing off the full salvo. That was a Igor VTOL. Again, just like the bigger Sokols, if you prioritize the engines, it's kind of the weak spot to take them out. So you can definitely see this place is more built up than the Pirates Bay. While that might have been a base of operations for them, especially for being space going, this is definitely more so like the hub of a hideout, right? It's more built up, there's more stuff here, and it's more well defended. I think that while defending, as we face a Wolverine, which is a medium mech that's of a higher weight than our Viper, we can move backwards pretty quickly, as you saw. I didn't expect to get underneath this building though, so that was like, okay, how do I get out? I was worried I was stuck. I wasn't actually stuck though. And we hurt the Wolverine pretty well in the process. But I suspect the higher number of defenders here is because when we first showed up, they scattered. And this is like a fallback point to defend. They kind of left the spaceport facility in Pirates Bay, as it were, sparsely defended to try and keep a hold of it as long as possible. But, you know, those kind of things can change hands without a big deal. We're not going to just obliterate a spaceport for no reason, right? That's a very nice thing to have, a place that can actually, on the regular, take Union-class dropships and all the dropships landing and taking off, is good infrastructure. So if they lose it, they can always take it back later in theory, but they're facing Clan Smoke Jaguar and not the DCMS, so good luck with that. So here we go with that kind of three-dimensional traversing we got here with this little overpass bridge thing. But we were in the river, now we're above it. I just enjoy when missions aren't just on one plane. I like this multi-planar, if you will, progression. So Jenners are everywhere, right? It's one of the oldest mechs in Mechwarrior. In fact, Mechwarrior 1, you start off with a Jenner. So, I mean, we've seen this mech for decades. It's kind of crazy. So we keep losing track of this Locust, but there it is. Not a lot of firepower to worry about, but just a nuisance. Just don't leave it running amok in your rear ranks. And Mechwarrior Online Locusts and other light mechs are exceptionally annoying and dangerous. Less so here, but still you want to take them down as fast as possible, especially if you are starting to get into structural damage for some reason. Because machine guns and flamers, I personally feel, and I could be mistaken, it could be a fallacy, but it feels like they're pretty good at dealing with structure. So we got a plethora of vehicles of a decent weight and turrets going on, plus that mech we have to deal with. I'm trying to just deal with the turrets because AC2s can pepper you for a while. So the Vindicator has some punch to it for sure. We're going to want to not just trade blows out in the open, but kind of focus it down. While the goal is to destroy the mech, if you feel you need to destroy an arm, see where the equipment's coming out of and destroy that location. When you destroy that location, the weapon's destroyed and you can not get hit nearly as hard. So that's always an option. Here we are getting some scanning on. Always pop in when you're in kind of packed areas like this. Always pop into scan mode. See if there's something you can scan for extra salvage operation potential. Gotta destroy this fusion reactor. Now this is fusion, not fission. There is a difference, a pretty big difference. One of those differences is a much lower, to my understanding, potential radiation fallout, if really potentially any at all. I'm not 100% certain. We don't have fusion reactors yet in the real world. We're working on it. It's still experimental, still trying to get a prototype up and running. Multiple different nations are trying to do that. That'll be a game changer for sure, but let's not worry about that right now, because here in Battletech Universe, our mechs are powered by fusion engines, so we got all the fusion we need. So the reason I was going crazy looking around is I thought I left something behind our ranks and it just was hiding, but it turns out that was not the case. I find it interesting that we have an optional objective to destroy the communication array. It's a target of opportunity, like was said. It wasn't necessarily even known to really be there per se, or be something that we could take out on our route. But considering we have to take down these mechs anyway, and it's close enough in distance for us to be able to pepper it once we deal with these mechs, it feels less optional, more like just do it. But hey, wasn't part of the original mission briefing, so that's pretty cool. Took down that spider, and it's an engine kill. They're so lightly armored that I feel it's a bit easier to breach the fusion engine and have it go critical on spiders as opposed to other light mechs out there. But you can get an engine kill, as I call it, on any weight class. It just seems like it happens a bit more often on lightweights, especially as we start bringing some crazy damage number potential onto them. So these aren't the most threatening mechs on their own, but they are hitting us in waves, right? So this is kind of an attritional thing, and I'm taking damage more so than the rest of my star, and I'm okay with that because I'm in one of the heavier mechs there. Not the heaviest, that would be the Shadowcat, but it has pretty decent tankiness, and I can always just kind of hang back and let the star get ahead of me to force the enemy to attack my star mates if needed, if things get too dicey for me. But I have noticed, and I could just be a fallacy and just seem that way because you tend to be the first thing in targeting range because you lead the way. But I have noticed, regardless of difficulty you play on, it does seem like the enemies when given an option of targets, will prioritize the player, which, hey, I get it, right? You're the only player there in single player like this. But also, you know, is going to be why you tend to take more damage than the rest, because you're the first to make contact typically, and it seems like the AI wants to take out the player more so than the other stuff, although they'll take out the other stuff just fine as well. It just seems like more of a bias that potentially gets a little bit more biased the higher up in difficulty you go. But that's just my best guess. I don't know if that's true or not, or if it just seems that way based on the fact that you're always up front first. So this is the last fusion reactor to take out. We have took it down. We basically ruined their little hideout here. As the Sakan said, they are fleeing the nest. So originally I was going to have Naomi make use of the repair bay because she's out of ammo. But then I saw the ammo crate, which is, being a video game, I like that they added this. It's a little bit of a help thing that you scan it and you get some ammunition back. In this case, everybody in the star got full ammo replenishment, which is nice. But because that was there, I took care of being repaired because I had the most damage. And again, I tend to make first contact, so I tend to get shot up more than my allies. So we have to get down there, and we could just go this way, especially with jump jets, but as you saw, we have a little like node blinking for us to go into scan mode for, and that is because we can hack a turret control tower. This pops up here and there. Basically, anytime you go around places, anytime you have an update to your objectives, go into scan mode, see if something pops up for you to scan, whether it's going to be salvage components or something like getting some turrets on your side. They're not going to break the bank in terms of crazy damage against the enemy. We still have to do plenty of fighting, but it's a little bit extra damage on our side, and it's 3 more targets that the enemy AI might want to shoot at instead of us, which is, even though they're pretty flimsy and can get destroyed pretty easily, that means we can not get shot at for an extra few seconds and more adeptly take them out. Wouldn't you know it, it's another Jenner. They are definitely, I think, a workhorse light mech of the Inner Sphere. We have this little patch of water, which is deep enough to enhance our cooling. So that's good. We're going to form up here and just hold by these turrets. This is a good position to be in. While the enemy does have the high ground, we have range advantage, clan tech on our side, and turrets to also kind of cause the enemy to take a moment to figure out what they want to target, potentially, or just not shoot at us, which is fine. We have to hold out until the end of the countdown timer. This always can get an eye roll out of people because having to just wait around can be annoying when you want to just make progress, but this isn't that long of a timer, and this doesn't happen that often in the campaign. So I'm okay with it. Plus, I have the water to stand in, so I can be much more of a laser spammer like I enjoy doing. So, lots of generators, lots of spiders. Another engine kill right there, which is pretty cool. That mech is not looking too good. I don't know if that was a fire starter or not. I wasn't paying attention. There were several targets in close proximity. Another engine kill on this spider. I always like the engine kill. I think it's a cool effect, and in terms of a logistical thing in universe, when a fusion engine detonates in a mech like that, it basically makes the mech virtually unsalvageable. Not really worth it to put the pieces back together after that, so it's a true destruction of enemy equipment. We're just burning through these javelins. I mean, we have so much weight at our advantage, and everybody was replenished with ammo, but even so, we will see Naomi run out of ammunition during this as well if she hasn't already. So there's the Vindicator. It's got some punch in that PPC, and it has medium and small laser, but those lasers aren't as good as ours. That's now the fire starter down, and now this Vindicator, which is got a little squeamish, and instead of trying to come close, it's kind of hanging back, which works for us because we're outranging things. All in all, not a bad day's work. Plenty of tonnage, and you can tell Naomi is out of ammo because no massive missile barrage has been fired, and she is really going to town with those small pulse lasers. But hey, they still work, so I'm fine with that. I'm not keeping the adder in that configuration though. I just did it as an experiment, uh, and it worked out okay. But I think it would need to be, if I was in co-op and a player wanted to be fire support, that would be a good option, because as a player you would utilize your flamer and small pulse lasers for easy targets, clean up targets, and for fresh targets you'd rain the missiles down. Anyways, we are nearly there, so job well done on this mission. And we are approaching the end of Santander in terms of the campaign missions, because the pirates are on their last legs after this defeat. This was basically a stronghold for them, more or less. And the only reason why we haven't encountered the big guns is because Valsek's on the run and is prioritizing saving his own skin versus defending things, so all the big guns are there to defend him as well. But as Sakan Weaver said, we will prepare for a hunt, which is always fun. We got another level up. We are at honor level 5. This means we unlock a new mech. We have more merit points at our disposal, considering a decent amount of mech experience or pilot experience all around. And considering I am maxed out on salvage claim upgrades, because 600 is the maximum you can get to, that means we can start putting our merit points into both research and repair upgrades to keep our mechs in tip-top shape and get more research done quickly, which is very cool.
Star Commander.
Random boot shot.
Hey, Naomi. Can you hold up for a second? I just wanted to say good work out there. And sorry for not reaching out sooner.
No apologies needed, Star Commander.
Jaden is fine when we are off duty.
Jaden. Truth be told, I am happy for a chance to see action for a change.
For a change? You have fought in the trials before, Quia?
But that was nearly a decade ago.
A decade?
I formerly served with the Jaguar Grenadiers, but my Galaxy commander, Andreas Showers, stifled my career by bidding away my star at every opportunity.
Ridiculous. Why not challenge such an obvious insult?
My entire star did. Unsuccessfully.
Did you try transferring to another galaxy?
But Andreas barred it. The sick bastard kept me around to pad the cut-downs of his bidding. After Andreas died, I successfully petitioned Commander Perez for a transfer to Beta, where I was paired with you and your Sibkin.
Well, you have been a valuable asset to us so far. The Grenadiers lost out.
Thanks. This invasion is my opportunity to make up for lost time. This may be my last chance to make something of myself, to avoid reassignment to a Salama cluster.
Those clusters, they are for the old and dying. You have plenty of time before that day comes.
Time comes for us all, young kid. If you live long enough, you too may have to come to grips with that reality. But thank you, Jaden. Your optimism is a refreshing change from the one-upmanship I am used to. Naive as it may be.
Well, thanks for that. Nice talk. Good talk. I enjoy character development in story-driven games like this, and it's true, Naomi is the one member of our star we know nothing about, really, because the rest are made up of our Sibco. So, Naomi is older than the rest of the star by about a decade, and we've learned all that there in that little cool cutscene. As well as a little bit of extra lore about the clan, such as the Salama clusters, which was already explained to us right off the bat, not leaving us in suspense of what it is for those on their way out, as it were, to have a chance at some form of warrior's end, if you will. So, we have merit points and we have a battle mech to unlock, and it's the Nova. It does not make use of ferrofibrous armor, instead it makes use of standard armor, but it's 50 tons, and regardless, it's still one of my medium mechs of choice. I'm a big fan of the Nova. So we're going to do some upgrades here to try and get our research on, as well as repair on, right? We got to make sure that we can keep our mechs in tip-top shape. We're getting in higher weight and in more meaningful combat, as it were, so we don't want to find ourselves falling short of repair capability. But between that and the research, since we have the salvage taken care of, we're going to be able to really keep our mechs in fighting shape, and we're going to get some pretty good research progress going in the future. Now that we can start prioritizing that and repair, because we have salvage done and over with. So we are a full star of medium mechs, basically. That's going to be fun. And I believe we stay a full star anyway of medium mechs now, moving forward into higher weight territory in the future. So that'll be really good. Always keep an eye on your star mates in the barracks to see who can take a next upgrade. Since I'm looking for evasion, I'm just building up experience. But you might be doing things a bit differently. You could sell off a mech. I don't find a real reason to do that unless you're doing super heavy crazy like customization and buying mechs left and right. Then you might want to sell ones you're not using. But outside of that, you're not really going to have a need to sell off mechs you're no longer using, really. Big thing here, setting up chain fire on this Nova Prime. It has 12 ER medium lasers. That's a lot of heat generation, so we're going to want to have some chain firing to help alleviate that once we start getting into the thick of it. But that's it for this part. We have dealt a big blow to the pirates. They are pretty much on their last legs. I'm able to easily get the Shadowcat alternate B configuration, like I mentioned earlier, because we had 2 in that mission. So now I can equip Liam the way I want to. In any case, thanks so much for taking the time to stop by. Consider hitting that subscribe button. I do stream Mechwarrior and other stuff over on Twitch most evenings, so you can check that out as well. And enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to save, touch some grass, or go outside if you can, if the weather permits. And until next time, take care.